Greetings, it is I again. For whatever reason, I'm doing these videos. It seems like it's a calling. It's kind of crazy. It's like a crazy calling just to share at some level some stuff. So I have an inspired poem that I did back in 2008, and I was on a poetry forum, and I think the publisher, I can't even think about it. I can't remember his name, but the publisher thought that was one of my best pieces. So I'm going to read it for you now. Super fun. I love it. I've been doing poetry for a long time, and it's been pretty cool. It's been super duper duper cool. So here we go. All right. So years in the womb, a creation of something extraordinary, a renaissance of sorts. Away from the busy nature of people and places and papers and passions and performing, and the darkness now, a faint and distant light, seemingly miles away, yet close enough to touch, guides to the place, the restful place, for a time of quiet consideration, a renaissance of sorts. Here it is. So fun. So what's cool about this is that I bet that you're experiencing something where you're maybe setting some things aside, to maybe awaken to something new. Sometimes we hang on to stuff, we're just so like attached to things, and then we notice that those things become kind of a burden in a way, right? It's not that it's bad or wrong or right or anything. It just means that it's like we almost, as we're moving through that series or that sense of renaissance, is we really want to awaken to something new and something more amazing. So when we're able to let go of some things, whether they be thoughts, beliefs, or systems, or structures, or stories, or things where we were naughty, or good or bad, or all those things are fairly neutral for my energy. But then we start seeing that we can start letting some things go, and when we do that, that Renaissance piece is really, really, really powerful. I think for a lot of people right now, you and me and the cat down the street, is that we're kind of waking up to kind of whole new vibes, and so these vibes are pretty, oh God, kind of amazing, because as we're stepping into these new kind of thresholds, or these new experiences with life, is that we're noticing different things, and so the things that we used to notice might not be there anymore, and then new things are showing up for each one of us. And so it's pretty cool when we kind of exercise our own ability, to have that sense of love and that sense of forgiveness too, because it's kind of like all these kind of energies are all kind of wound up right now. And I think even for mine, my energies have kind of become untethered, So everything that had been operating with me before I don't even know. I don't even work with time, right? But I just know that the untethering of some of the energies that were part of my life as Susie from childhood to now, I've had to release a lot of different things that have experienced in my life. And so some of the things, when we look at some of the things that we're looking at with this Renaissance, is that a Renaissance is just a whole new period. It's a new era. It's a new sense of like what's next for you, right? And what is kind of like a recipe, like you're making a soup. What would you like to be put in there? What would you put in there? And I think for a lot of us right now, it's like a lot of people are kind of curious, like, what is going on? What's going on, right? And when we feel that what's going on is that we can start noticing, well, what's going on is what's inside of me, what's inside of this beautiful breath of life, and the beautiful breath of life that you are. That this Renaissance it's an inward journey. It's not like a book that you read. It's not like a story that's been told. It's not like somebody did this and then that's their deal, and then all of a sudden I want to do that too. It's just, no, it's an inward journey. And as you move through these inward journeys, a little bit like the Joseph Campbell, the with Joseph Campbell's work, you see some of these energies where it's just kind of these systems and structures, and then these events and all these different things. And I love the hero's journey completely, but I also love the ability to go inward and go like, right now for me with the Iman, the eternal moment of now energy, is like, what can I do? What can I do right now that will have some sort of kind of some goodness for me, or some awareness, or some gifts or miracles. And a lot of people, I think, are right now are looking for the miracles. And I think those miracles, when we really look at the Renaissance, for each one of us individually has our own sense of like, what is my Renaissance? She's got one, he's got one. Now what? What about me? Right? Is that we start kind of noticing what the Renaissance for us is now, because as the dimensions have been shifting, and a lot of things and structures are kind of have already collapsed. Although some may say, well, the structures are still there and all that, all that stuff is still there. I'm like, I don't think so. I think it's gone now. And so I think people are still kind of resonating with some old vibrations or old frequencies that are kind of have already been, they're just kind of gone. I don't even know the word for it. It's just they don't exist anymore. But then still people kind of believe what they always thought was real. And so when we look at that sense of that renaissance, is that we kind of start, again, like I said, move into that sense of going inward and finding the answers for your own self. And kind of, if there's things that you want to create in your world, you really, we go in and we ask. These are some of the things I do at night. Is I ask these questions, very simple questions, not complex, and not like, let me tell you what happened. No, we don't do that. It's just like a simple question, and then I get a simple answer. And so when we go inward with our sense of renaissance, a new era, a new sense of loving, right? A new sense of awareness and consciousness, is that we have the ability just to go inward, and in our quietude, right? Is that we can go in and ask a question and then get an answer. And then once you get it, sometimes we forget the answers, maybe sometimes we forget the questions. But once we've already, kind of looked at that renaissance piece with asking and getting the questions, answered, is that we've already got the knowledge. And sometimes we're like, well, I wish I remembered what it was. Well, you've got it already. So if there's things that you're seeking in your life right now, with all of the changes that have been moving about for a couple years or 3 years or for trillions of years, who knows? I don't know how long this planet's been here. But then we get to look at our ability to kind of exercise our sovereignty, and as we move into that sovereign piece, is that we know that whatever is happening around us, it might be something that we like or enjoy, and sometimes it's not for us. But when we're in that sovereign space, right, and even if we're with people who say this or that or do this or that, and then you can still remain sovereign. So this idea of sovereignty of self is super powerful. And when you go into that sense of sovereignty with that Renaissance energy, it's really, really amazing. Because at that point, when you're able to say, I am sovereign, and maybe the dimensions have changed, or maybe some of these other kinds of vibrations or frequencies have gone. So what next? What will you create? What kind of miracles are you seeking in your life? What kind of answers do you like to get? Is it through thought? Is it through some other type of visual? Is it something that you can hear or speak out, or can you feel it? Can you touch these miracles? So when you start looking at the sovereignty as a renaissance, a beautiful renaissance, right? Is what next will you do with for engaging with miracles? And I would have to say, with the miracles, with the idea of miracles, is that we really want to focus on our frequencies. And frequencies are just energy. We all come in as energy. We happen to have a cute little body. And we enjoy it, right? It kind of gets us around. We're kind of like driving around in a little vehicle. But when you really look at it, is when you're really seeking to create miracles or create abundance or create better relationships or create better health in your body, is you got to keep that frequency high. And some of the words might be compassion, love, joy, peace, kindness, understanding, wisdom, all these different kinds of, these are all only words, right? But, when we really look at it, even in Sanskrit, each vowel or each other, one of the letters, it has its own vibration. It forms something, each letter, and then you bring all these other letters together. They come in, and then they create more magnificence. It's very similar to that when we are looking with words or feeling with the words, is we just have to know that that vibration and that frequency is really assisting you, so that you're able to stay in a space where you're able to create, right? Sometimes people are in a frequency where they're kind of stuck, or they feel blocked, or they feel that they're not doing it the best. They've got goals, but they're not doing it. Why aren't they doing it? You're like, what's that about, right? But that's a path, these all of these different ways that we can look at, creating miracles in your life, or creating this renaissance period for yourself, is that you can just notice what you're noticing. And if you're really like, I'm kind of like pretty I'm not gonna say aggressive, but I'm pretty much with effective action. If I say I'm going to do something, I normally do it. Sometimes it looks messy. A lot of my life has like kind of messy, or and that's fun too. But all of these are paths for us. And even if we like, well, that person did better than me, or I did better than them, everybody's on their path. So with this Renaissance idea, and with this poem I wrote at the very beginning, really want you to just kind of notice what you're noticing about yourself. Are you ready to step into something new? Are you ready to feel more love, more peace, more calm, more abundance in your life, more manifestation in all areas of your beautifulness, right? And with these relationships, what else can we do? What can we do? How can we do better? What would that look like to be with a person, and to be really feeling that presence, and really acknowledging that beautiful person's presence. So I think that's it. This is a quickie. So, with this Renaissance, it's was a poem I did back in 2008, and it got quite a bit of attention back then. It was a while ago, but I've always loved this one. So have a beautiful day, and namaste.